Welcome to a lesson today about subject-verb agreement. We're going to run through when we should use a singular form of the verb or when we should use a plural form of the verb, and we're going to start with and. If we have two elements joined by and, that means we need a plural. My wife and I are, never is. Now, if we have an or a nor, it's singular in a simple either A or B is correct sentence. Either A or B is correct, not are correct. Either A or B is correct. However, things get a little more complicated if we have an of, with neither, either, any or none of. We can use singular or plural, and singular is actually formal and plural is informal. I have to say that I think I would perhaps only use if any of them want to come, they are welcome. I think I would usually use none of the students have the answer. If any of them want to come, neither of them is correct. But both are possible here. Neither of them is correct, neither of them are correct. None of the students has the answer, none of the students have the answer. If any of them want to come, they are welcome. If any of them wants to come, they are welcome. They are considered both correct, but singular is formal and plural is informal. Okay, so let's come down onto when we have, these are obviously all plural, them, students and them, they're all plural, but sometimes we have a singular and a plural. Sometimes we have a singular and a singular. Neither my friend nor my teacher agrees. And I've read on several websites and in some of the books on English grammar that this verb should agree with the last element here. So if the last element is singular, the verb is singular. Here we've got plural here and plural, and so the verb is plural. Neither my friends nor my teachers agree. Now here, when we have neither my friend nor my teachers, we make it agree with the antecedent, with the previous noun, okay? Not with this noun, but with the previous noun. So if this is plural, we have agree, and if this is singular, we have agrees. Even though we have friends here, which seemed a little illogical to me, but that's the rule which I've read in several different places now. Okay, now please remember that with a number of, we use plural form of the verb, but with the number of, we use singular. And by the way, I'm talking about with a plural noun here, because a number of doesn't necessarily have to be with a plural noun, but I hope you understand this difference. A number of is like a lot of, it's a quantifier. The number of, here, that is being used as a collective noun. So they're very different, these two words. They look the same, number and number. But a number of is a quantifier. The number of is actually a collective noun. We can say exactly the same with percentage. A large percentage have replied. A large percentage is actually a quantifier there. And the percentage of men, percentage is actually a collective noun there. And so, when it's being used as a quantifier, with a plural noun, we need a plural ending, have. But when it's being used as a collective noun, then we very often use the singular form of the verb, even though collective nouns can take both. But we'll come to that later. So please remember the number of them has, but a number of them have. Okay, a lot of, plenty of, all of, some of, or a third of. If they're with a plural noun, then you use a plural verb. If they're with an uncountable or singular noun, then you use a singular verb. So a lot of them have, but if we say a lot of his body or something like that has been damaged, has been injured, a lot of his body has. A lot of his body was, because body is singular. Yeah, if it's a plural, it's going to be plural. If it's singular, has or was, it's going to be a singular verb. Now, each and every are singular. You should remember that from everyone is, everything is, yeah, everything was. They're always singular. And when we have a there is or there are sentence, the verb agrees with the following noun, okay, because the noun is subject in one of these existential clauses. Please remember this in fronting as well. Sometimes we put the end of the sentence at the front, especially in literature. Still, the noun which is subject, the verb must agree with the noun which is subject. Okay, if we have a measurement or an amount or a quantity like 50 pounds. Now, 50 pounds sounds very plural, but it's actually requires a singular verb. Just as 3 miles is very, very plural, but we say 3 miles is too far. Yeah, that distance is too far. 3 miles is too far. 5 years is a long time. 5 years was a long prison sentence. It's got to be singular verb each time. Okay. Quickly then to remind you about this percentage of. Because percentage of is a collective noun, it could be used in the singular or it could be used in the plural, and it really depends on the sentence. Very often percentage of is the same as number of, in the sense of when you're using percentage as a quantifier, then you'll need it in the plural verb, but when you're using percentage as a singular collective noun, then you'll very often need a singular verb. It actually depends with collective nouns, because you can say the family is or the family are. Family is the most obvious collective noun. But be careful with which one you choose, because it has to be consistent. It has to make sense with the rest of the sentence. So if you say the family is deciding on what they want to do, that is very inconsistent, because they is plural. And you've used a singular verb here for family. So really, you want to say the family are deciding on what they want to do, just to make it consistent. So do be consistent with your collective nouns. If you're going to use the pronoun they, make sure you're backing it up with a verb form which matches the plural pronoun. Okay, if there's any questions about any of this is very complex, especially this part, percentage of, please put them under the video. I'd be delighted to answer them, and it's actually quite interesting, some of the more complicated details of this grammar. So please put questions under the video. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you all soon.